before we jump into today's episode, I just want to bust a few myths on turmeric for you so you can listen to this episode, which is a conversation between me and my good friend Nick, and you can start using turmeric in a way that serves you, and you're not going to fall into any of the traps or the false lore circling the internet. Number one, do not make turmeric as tea. It is not water soluble. The good constituents of turmeric do not extract very well in water. So if you are taking dried turmeric root and you are boiling it and you are turning it into a tea, you are leaving too much on the table. I will also note that if you're using the full powder to make a tea or like a turmeric latte, that is different because the whole herb is getting ingested. I also want to note that there is a difference between turmeric and curcumin. Curcumin is an extract from turmeric, and when you use curcumin, you lose a lot of the properties of turmeric. So you're getting the anti-inflammatory properties, but you're not getting the astringent properties, the lowering blood fat qualities. You are not getting the tissue building or bone building qualities. There is a big difference between using the whole root turmeric and the extract curcumin. They both have their place, they can be used together, but note there is a difference. And the biggest piece of internet lore around turmeric that we have to put to bed is that turmeric is 2,000 times more bioavailable when paired with black pepper or piperine. That is utter nonsense. And anybody who is out there on the internet telling you that your turmeric is ineffective without black pepper or piperine is probably someone that you don't need to listen to. That comes from a very misinterpreted study and is simply not the case. We do this experiment without adding any pepper or piperine to our turmeric. I regularly use turmeric without these additions with clients, and I get great results. So there's a lot of just poor information on the internet, misconstrued, misinterpreted studies, and everybody just starts regurgitating everything, and we're not going to listen to it. Turmeric does so much. It is an amazing herb. It touches all of the tissues of the body. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps with digestion. It helps with the liver. It helps with gynecological issues. It's anti-carcinogen, which is super cool, especially if you live in California because you know how many things cause cancer. It's also anti-tumor, and literally it does so much, right? Like antifungal, that astringent property I talked about. It helps with complexion, it can whiten your teeth, it can do literally so much. But turmeric is a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. So for all of the things it does good, but it doesn't do the best. But for one herb that does, 100 different things, turmeric is like a Swiss Army knife. All right, that's all I'm gonna say without giving away too much. We're going to jump into the episode. I'll see you on the other side. Hello. Today we are joined by Oh my God. I'm gonna fuck his name. By Nick Medlock. He is a good friend and personal trainer and is joining us on this segment of For Science. Today, we're going to talk about our experience with turmeric. But before we jump into that, Nick, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me and our listeners a little bit about you.
Yeah. Well, I'm Nick Medlock. I mess up names all the time, especially here's my best friend and I can't remember his name. But I'm a personal trainer, certified through NASM. I'm also a certified nutrition coach, and I'm also a master life coach through the Transformation Academy. And I love everything health and fitness. I love that you do holistic things too. That's what I really enjoyed our first talks together when we were doing talks at Northwest Personal Training, and then with the podcast Healthy and Active in the Couve. Because I don't think that health is just exercising, or it's not just nutrition, and it's not just seeing a therapist for your mental health. It's all of that, and so much more. And so what I've loved to do my whole life is try to incorporate so many different elements of that. And I've been into herbal medicine, functional nutrition, and things like that for a very long time. I started getting into herbs and tinctures maybe 30 years ago or so. My dad was studying a lot of those kinds of things. And so it was just natural that I would kind of like get interested and kind of learn alongside what my dad was doing. Um, but for me, my profession is helping people get stronger, helping with movement dysfunctions, as well as nutritional coaching. So I can't tell anybody what to eat, but I can tell them about eating and I can educate and things like that. So I'm not a dietitian or a licensed nutritionist, but food is my jam. I literally jam. But I love everything about what goes into your body and what comes out of your body is energy, including what goes into your body is thoughts, and out of your body is your emotions, your actions, and things like that. Um, and so I also do a lot of. I'm also a yoga instructor, and I love doing energy work like with Tai Chi and Reiki and things like that. So it's all encompassing, and I've had great benefits from herbal health, using tinctures, supplements, food, to get rid of. I used to have chronic sinus infections and strep throat. And when my dad started getting into a lot of the herbs and things, I stopped going to doctors because I didn't need that anymore. And so there's a long time in my life where I would never get sick because I was regularly doing tinctures or tonics, eating raw cloves of garlic sometimes. And so, but my chronic sinus infections went away. My strep throat chronically went away. I haven't had that probably in 25 years almost.
That's cool. What a beautiful introduction. And so you're my first person I've brought on for this segment that is a little more like in the field, not just some like random lay person, which I'm super excited about because I think we
Awesome.
can have a bit of a different conversation.
Yeah.
But I wanna know just from the get-go.
Okay.
So you and I both did turmeric. We took it as powder, just the
Mhm.
root, and we did 30-gram doses. So
Yeah.
with all of your herbal experience, what did you think about that dose I recommended?
It was pretty high. And it was, for me, I can pretty much down anything, and I could down this, but it was, I described it, it was like licking the incense off of a temple after a ceremony was done.
Well, that sounds beneficial.
It was a very spiritual experience. Um, no, I love the smell of incense, and especially if you've ever been to a temple when all the incense is going off, it's fantastic. Um, but it was for me. I had to add more. I mixed mine with protein powder and coconut milk, and so
Oh,
you had suggested just trying water, and so I've done that before, but I wanted to try this and I had protein that has adaptogenic mushrooms in it also. So it was just a lot of anti-inflammatory, anti-stress kinds of things, um, and that was tolerable, and so I just chugged it. But it was like it made me go, you
right.
shake my body like that, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever had.
Yeah, like it's not the highlight of your day. One of my
Right.
clients, what did she tell me yesterday? She's like, I played around with the ways you wanted me to take these powders, but she's like, stiff upper lip and just down it is
Just do it. Yeah.
what I landed on. And I've done turmeric on and off, but like I don't tend towards inflammatory issues. And so I haven't done it like consistently at that dose.
Yeah.
So it was fun for me too to like get to experience that dose of turmeric. And I agree, it doesn't taste good, but like I felt so good on it that it was
Yeah.
worth it. So
Oh yeah.
tell
Definitely.
me,
So I'm not gluten allergy, but I do have like certain intolerances to that. So I don't have bread much anymore. Um, and I don't have typically a lot of things with gluten like soy sauce and things. Um, my wife especially can't handle that at all, so we don't have that in our house. Um, but every once in a while, if I go out, to a restaurant, I may have the real gluten, bun or bread or a beer that has gluten in it, and I really feel that. So, in my body, my guts especially tend to get inflamed, and so I try to keep mostly an anti-inflammatory type diet. And what I noticed with this was the inflammation in my gut felt significantly different. After a couple of days, I could really tell that my belly wasn't as bloated feeling, and I looked thinner too. So that was a plus. And then I could really feel the difference if I were to go out to eat and have gluten or have a little bit of alcohol. Um, I could feel that immediately and feel the inflammation. But then it went away faster than it normally would. So,
That's
yeah.
very interesting. And I know you mentioned beforehand when we were chatting that you do a lot. Like you keep a good diet, you work out, and so I forgot how you phrased it, but like, you already feel good, so things
Yeah.
don't necessarily impact you dramatically. So tell me a little bit more about that, like where you're at and what this inclusion added.
Yeah. So, as a yoga teacher, I also teach my clients to be really in tune with their body. So, and I can't teach that unless I'm actively doing that myself. So, I'm mindful in the way that my body feels most of the time. I try to be, and I can tell what kinds of foods set me off or what kinds of foods make me feel better. And so, because I do a lot of nutrition things on my own, it wasn't as drastic of a switch that it might have been even 10 years ago for me. But it was subtle, and it was subtle in ways that it was like, oh, so this is what inflammation feels like as it's coming in when I'm not inflamed as much. So it was interesting to feel that from more of a level base point. Or this is what it feels like, when my guts are not inflamed at all, and I've got more ability to move. I've got more ability to push in to do like the stomach massage or the intestinal massages that then it doesn't hurt as much. So sometimes, the guts get tender. I've also had my appendix rupture, so that's why I'm constantly doing abdominal massage so I can break up some of the adhesions from the abscesses that were in there, because I was in the hospital for 14 days because it ruptured and it went septic and it went. It was during COVID and it was hard to get into hospitals, so it was like I thought I was dealing with something else. But yeah, so I had a long time ruptured appendix. I probably shouldn't be here, but that's why I'm constantly monitoring, my guts and so. But when I'm on the turmeric and I'm pressing and doing the massages, there's not that tenderness to that. So the inflammation really, really went down.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, and I'll
Yeah.
tell you for me, so the very first night I took it, I was traveling in California, so I was like off my routine, off my game, staying in a bed that's not mine. And I remember that like I took the first dose and I didn't work my way up. I just went straight into the 30 grams. 'Cause, like, do what I say, don't do what I do.
Right, right.
And like I was laying in bed and I'm like, oh my God, I can breathe. Like, can I not normally breathe? I didn't even
Wow.
realize that I wasn't like breathing. And I was just sitting there like, wow,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
fabulous.
Oh, that's amazing.
It
Yeah.
was. And then the other thing I noticed was like, because I was on a strange bed, my back was hurting. And like literally after the first night taking it, I woke up and I was like prepared to be like, oh, my back. And I went to bend over and grab something. And I was like, wait, that didn't hurt.
Nice.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is fun.
It is fun, and I've used turmeric for pain before when I was doing a lot of Olympic style powerlifting, and I was just sore all the time. I was
Hmm.
popping ibuprofens and NSAIDs, and then I realized that's probably not good for my liver. And then started researching more and found out that a lot of those things also inhibit protein synthesis. So I'm like, well, I'm just defeating everything that I'm trying to do to gain muscle and lose fat and everything. So I stopped taking a lot of the NSAIDs and ibuprofen and everything and started switching to garlic, not garlic, ginger root and turmeric in my water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And I was drinking that regularly, and then the pain started to decrease a lot. It was tolerable. It was still there, but it was a lot better than wrecking your liver with all the Tylenol and ibuprofen and everything.
Hmm.
Plus, I felt better. And here's the other thing that I forgot to write down in my notes. I have had a lot more energy lately, and I've got a weird sleep schedule. It's kind of like a split shift, but not. And so sometimes I can get 9 hours of sleep. Sometimes I get 4 hours of sleep, depending on the rotation. So I'm tired a lot, and so I drink a lot of coffee, and so I haven't been so dependent on the need for coffee while I was doing this. So oftentimes I would come home and have to pour out some of the coffee from my carafe, which
Ooh.
never happens. So yeah, every ounce gets drank.
That's that's interesting. That's
Yeah,
I'm like thinking through what in that mechanism would support energy. Because I mean, just being less inflamed, things working better, like,
yeah,
that alone is one part of it, but
yeah. I think I was getting deeper sleep. So
mm,
I think so. There's a couple of different things. I was also taking more creatine and more L-theanine. Just as far as I regularly experiment with things, and I found that L-theanine in teas like green tea and other teas helped produce GABA, which helped with mental states, anxiety, and things. Um, and as I was explaining before we started recording, I've been dealing with a nerve issue that causes some pain. And oftentimes, if I'm in an inflamed state, it'll wake me up in the middle of the night. And so that'll decrease my sleep. So, because I'm not as inflamed globally in my body, that nerve isn't acting up and I'm getting better, deeper sleep. On top of the creatine also helps with mental acuity, not just getting, more muscles. And the L-theanine also helps with that anxiety and mental state. So I think all of that together helped with the inflammation and the deeper sleep, which helps with more energy. So that's I think a lot part of it. And if you're functioning better because of less inflammation, then your mood's automatically going to be better. Your energy, I think you don't have to fight against pain as much.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that is one of the, I mean, they've done head-to-head trials with turmeric and certain antidepressants, and turmeric performs. It definitely helps
Oh,
support mood and depression. And
yeah.
it's probably just that, like less inflammation in the gut, less inflammation in the brain. Like we just
Hmm.
function better.
Yeah.
I saw a girl yesterday, and I was following up on her anxiety, and she's like, "My anxiety." And I was like, "Yeah, like that was one of your symptoms." And she's like, "My anxiety's gone. Where did it go?" And we didn't
Oh,
even do anything. Like we were just correcting nutrient status really to start. And I was like, when your body has what it needs, it is so amazing that these things disappear.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's so much. There's so many fascinating things in research on the microbiome and the gut-brain axis, and just even having uh, the microbial dysbiosis in your gut that a lot of people have just from eating fast food, processed food, all these things that really rearrange the gut microbiome in a way that is not healthy, and we get all of these mental stressors, anxiety, depression, all of these things. Not that they don't have their own particular causes, but they can be caused by the environment and the foods that we put in our body. And, so a lot of things like the bacteria in our body do help set the mood for good or bad. And
Yeah.
we fix a lot of that microbiome in our gut with the herbs and with proper eating and with exercise and things like that. It really helps with the mental health.
It's a little creepy how many like microbes and stuff are in us that influence us and we don't even think about it. Like,
Yeah. I love to get creepy sometimes with my yoga class when I say, like, yoga is about connection. It literally means to yoke or to connect. And just think about how many things that you're connected with. And I don't start here, I always start with the breath, body. But how many things does it make you be a human to be alive that are not human? And we're mostly non human parts that keep us alive, the bacteria on our skin, in our body, in our sinuses, the whole thing. So we're more microbes that are non human helping us metabolize all of these things. And that kind of gets creepy because you can't be you without these other things.
I can't even imagine you in like a 4 a.m. yoga class talking about these microbes.
Yeah. So that's only when I have certain opportunities. Most of it's flow or breathing, but sometimes people want to know things, and so I will sermonize.
Yeah. Well, I'm friends with a medium, and she always talks about if there's a seen world, there's also an unseen world. And
Hmm.
there's so much that influences us that we don't see. And because we don't see it, we don't make that connection, but it's there
Yeah.
influencing us. And when you start paying attention and realizing it, it is just like your
Yeah.
your mind is blown open.
Oh yeah. I love that. You just reminded me of one of my favorite philosophers. He created what's called integral theory, and you may have heard of spiral dynamics. That's part of what's in that. But he goes into that exteriority and interiority of everything. So like not just not just an individual, but all the parts within the individual, and not just the individual, but all of the collective systems that an individual is in. And
Mm.
so you've got all of these, the way that I experience myself internally and how I present myself externally, and then in a group that I'm in, or in these groups, in these cultures, and all throughout time. And he's just fascinating. I don't want to go too on and on about that, but he's got a whole system based off of that interior and exterior kind of aspect, but with development and psychology and sociology and everything. Uh,
Oh,
and integral, so it integrates everything that we've ever talked about too.
yeah. Well, and that's fascinating because I like at the end of the day, it's so basic. Like it's all connected, right? Like
Yeah,
everything we perceive, everything that is around us, like it influences us in a way, especially if we're unaware. And it it is. It's part of it. And navigating that, I think, is part of the journey to like figuring out how to show up healthy and how to show up happy and
yeah.
all of these things. And that's like a whole rabbit hole for its own day, but it's fascinating. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, right on. Well, yeah, you'd love it. I'll send you some more stuff about it, because it definitely it gets into nutrition. It gets into different types of sciences, and what I love about what you do too is you integrate the Ayurvedic systems, and that's such a tradition and a cultural thing. But it examines the human body, and not just the physicalness of the outside appearances, but how it feels, what
Mhm.
your intuitions are, what your emotions are, what the culture around you can to add or hurt against that, and just the way that all the food and nutrients, it just goes on and on, and the systems in the East, like Ayurveda, deal with so much more than just I would say the acute pain. In the West would be like the acute pain in the shoulder, and the East would be more like the whole system. Maybe not even deal with the shoulder, what's going on somewhere else. And the West is catching up to that as we get more integrated, and we're finding more systems. But yeah, I appreciate a lot of what the Eastern philosophy has taught me personally.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that call out. Turmeric is one of my favorite Ayurvedic herbs.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is like what I love about Ayurveda is it doesn't just give you a roadmap for like how to deal with your disease.
Hmm.
It shows you how to live a good life and it shows you how to be happy. And it gives you like, if you drill down, like a persnickety rule for like everything, like from what is the mindset and emotional tone you're feeling in the grocery store? Like from the moment like you're shopping for your food, like what's your signature? What's the signature going on in the grocery store? What do you feel when you prepare that food? Like all of that is getting passed on and impacting your digestion and how you're able to assimilate those nutrients and
Yeah.
how many people touch your food and how often do we think about how far our food is coming from and how many influences are on it. Like I'm in the weeds, but it's it's such a fascinating system because it looks at everything, where you live, the weather, the relationships, the job, the career, the how you spend your leisure time. Like it covers it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I love that. You just reminded me of so many things that I probably won't even get into some of the studies on water and things, but you just reminded me of uh, I was in an ashram once visiting my uncle, who practices Hinduism. Um, I mean, he wouldn't say it like that, but he has a saint that he follows, and some gurus. And I was visiting him in this ashram, and they were doing meal prep for this homeless food shelter that they were donating food to, and we were all around. It was kind of like they were blessing the food and creating, I think it was called darshan, and just this deeply intentional, peaceful state. So kind of like to bless the food, but not in like a superficial, we bless this food, but it was kind of like creating this atmosphere of love and energy and healing and health and well-being while they're cutting the vegetables, while they're making the bean and lentil burritos. And then just having also good conversation while they're doing it, and talking to the vegetables and being thankful for the, the life-giving nature of that. And it was like, it was so empowering, enriching, and peaceful to do that. And so it really made me reflect a lot after that, how much, like you were saying, what goes into the food process, and and like where it comes from, how many people touch it, not just in the grocery store, but like, from the farm to the to the truck, to the market, to all the people touching it at the market. But then it made me think to all of the energies that are around that, does that, on a molecular level, change anything? And there's some, I think it was Dr. Emoto, that had, probably butchering his name, but he had some different, experiments where he showed that the crystalline structure of water changed based off of these emotions or intentions that were around it. And I don't know that anybody's been able to duplicate that, or if it's been peer reviewed or anything, but that's been stuck in my head. Just that thought that, our moods, emotions, and intentions, around food can contribute to our health or our dishealth.
Yeah. Well, I think about it like, have you ever been to a thrift store or something and you pick up an object and you're like, oh, that's got some stank on it. Like
Yeah.
it looks fine, it's cute, whatever, but like you can feel energetically it's heavy.
Yeah.
Like I think it's the same with our food. And you're right. I don't know if it's happening at the molecular level. I don't know if it's like some schmuck is like just around it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I can feel it on things. I can feel it on
Yeah.
people, and it totally is on our food,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
which is why we need turmeric.
Yeah. Well, turmeric's amazing, and I didn't know too much about turmeric, um, and I still haven't researched a lot about it. But I have, used it for an antifungal before. I was telling you this earlier. I had a really bad, a foot fungus, but it wasn't. It didn't look like anything that I'd ever had before. I never, had it diagnosed by a doctor, but it was starting to, really irritate the bottom of my feet, and I was using all these creams from the store and everything. And somebody just mentioned in passing, who knew a lot of herbs, like, just try soaking it in turmeric. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And I've been suffering with this. Um, uh, it was starting to really, eat the flesh away out of my feet. So I was like, I'm about to go to the doctor, and in one soak, and I soaked it probably, for maybe an hour. I was just reading a book, letting it soak, letting it do all of its work. It totally got rid of that foot fungus in one soak, and it never came back. And I've never had feet issues since then. Um, and I've learned to take better care of my feet structure, bone wise and muscular wise. But socks are socks, and I haven't really changed. I've always wore socks that help my feet breathe, and shoes that help them breathe. So I picked this up somewhere, and I don't know, but I go barefoot all the time. And so, I never have any kind of foot fungus issues ever, except for that one time. And it was turmeric that did it, and it cured it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I have what form of turmeric? Were you like powder? Or did you boil it?
It was just powder. It was like, I have turmeric and curry and all different kinds of spices.
Yeah.
And so in this case, when I was doing the turmeric, in my water, it was in a root form, and this was just powder. And I just drew a bath, and I probably shouldn't have done this because I didn't know how much it would stain, but I just poured it in the bathtub, and let my feet soak in it, and then I ended up scrubbing it a lot afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to interact with society the way that I do, I would be rubbing turmeric all over. I would just walk around yellow because
Yeah.
it has so many benefits from whitening your teeth to, glowing and beautiful skin. Like it is a super herb, and I talk about it in the pre-recording, all of the amazing things it does. Um, but yeah, like anytime you really get cute with the turmeric, like you're staining your sinks and your counter and your
Yeah.
skin and everything.
Oh yeah. Well, every time I take the turmeric and I go brush my teeth afterwards, the toothbrush is yellow now. So
Yeah.
I'm getting a new toothbrush at the dentist next week.
Yeah. Well, no, you're like looking at your tongue, you're like, is it normally covered in yellow?
Yeah.
No, nope, just I had some turmeric.
Yeah.
That's totally a consideration and maybe
Yeah.
a warning I should give people when doing turmeric. But
Yeah.
when I was down in California, and I normally have turmeric on hand just as part of my herb store as my apothecary, but I didn't. And then I was in California, and so I bought like 2 bags from a health food store. And it was like just the perfect amount for the 7 days, like 30 grams, 7 days. It was literally like within a gram or two the exact amount. And after I ran out, I was like, "Oh, I'm out and I'm sad."
Yeah.
And so I went and I bought 2 pounds of
Oh, right.
turmeric. So I'm like, I'm set. I'm
Right.
sticking with it because it hits good.
It does. You may have me hooked on it. I'm gonna buy some more.
Yeah. Well, and
But did,
that 30-gram dose isn't long term. Like, you could like load, saturate the body, clear some of that initial inflammation, and then you might be able to maintain with 5 to 10 grams a day. Like,
yeah.
it's not, I put people on these big doses and they're like, is this for life? And I'm like, no, we're in like, acute maintenance or, acute like fix it phase, and then we can go to maintenance phase. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not so much.
Not so much all the time. Did you get hot afterwards, like internally? Not like not like cayenne pepper hot, but more like I would say my experience was like my body was ready to go. It wasn't like sweaty hot, but there was like more energy hot.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say I think I know the feeling you're talking about, and it wasn't like enough to disturb me from sleep.
Right.
Like sometimes I would take it before bed, but like it definitely gave me like that like, ooh, I can just like navigate life better feeling or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is it's a hot herb
Yeah.
before it's digested, and then
Oh,
once it's digested, it has a post digestive cooling effect. So it
okay.
goes in hot and then it comes out cool, and that's how it's
Nice.
anti-inflammatory even though it's
Okay.
a hot herb.
Yeah. It's like apple cider vinegar goes in as acid and comes out as alkaline ash.
So weird.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on inside here, but our bodies do crazy things.
they do. It's amazing. Yeah. Well, it was a fun experience.
Good, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna have you back
Okay, cool.
for something
I'm
else.
game. Yeah. I love science. I'll be a guinea pig for science any day.
I love it. Well, do you
Yeah.
have any parting words for our listeners? Anything else you want to say about turmeric or life or
Yeah.
anything?
Well, life is good. Try to stay close to as natural as you can, is what I would say for most things. Breathe a lot and don't take it so seriously, because we get caught in that trap.
I love that.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about this segment. It's like, let's just get curious. Let's just try
Yeah.
something and play and no expectations. I didn't tell you what to expect
Yeah.
going in.
No.
Thank you
And
for
that
trusting me.
was fun. Yeah. Well, because then I didn't have anything to kind of expect or kind of like oftentimes when you're in an experiment, you kind of go, this could happen, this could happen. So you've got all these things that you're looking out for, and you may miss some of the things that may be subtle.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why I try to, I don't, I, it's an interesting spot, but like the more you tell people like, oh, these are the potential side effects, they will look for them and they will create them in their
Hmm.
minds. And so like
Yeah.
it's a tricky dance of like how much to share, how
Right.
what not to share.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for trusting me.
Absolutely. And there's always that placebo effect too, where people are like, I expect this, so I make it happen. And that's another fascinating podcast thing that we could do sometime, because our bodies can make things happen just by our expectations.
100%. I believe over 30% of healing, natural, conventional, is placebo.
Yeah.
I mean, there's surgeries that have been done for years, and I don't remember the specific surgery. There was some heart surgery that they were doing, and then they realized it wasn't doing anything, but people were healing after it because people believed it was doing
Yeah.
something. They
Yeah.
trusted their doctors.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
it's
mean, if your mindset is going and the body naturally wants to heal, if that's what it, and so some maybe pieces align in your body that then, okay, so this pathway of healing is now in alignment, because maybe our thoughts were getting in the way, or maybe our thoughts were more um, cortisol producing and anxiety producing, and wrecking all the hormones that way. And if we trust something enough to believe it's going to work, then maybe that stress level changes or the hormone levels changes or whatever. Either way, it works. I don't know the mechanisms, but I'm just postulating some of those things.
yeah. No, I think all of those are, there's woo-woo mystic beliefs behind it, but then you can back it up by scientific things, like you said, like you're not in that stress state, your body's producing less cortisol.
Hmm.
That alone is a removed barrier to healing, which is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Nick. We'll definitely have
Well,
you back, because I think there's a lot of good conversations left to be had.
I think so. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
See ya.